Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/ProRevenge. Today we have one more set of great revenge stories. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. And our first story. Moving company tried to screw me, so I royally screwed them back. I hope this is the right place for this. So I was getting out of the military, and there are two options that service members have for their move when they get out. Either you can rent a U-Haul / throw everything you own in your car / truck and drive home and get reimbursed for the gas, or you can get a moving company that's contracted through the military to move your stuff for you. I was moving a small duplex from California to Colorado, so I opted to have the company move me. I'd recently undergone major spine surgery and was in no shape to be moving anything myself as I was still recovering. All of our things were loaded up and I got my delivery date. The delivery date came around and no one showed up. I had taken the day off from my new civilian job and was upset that I was missing out on work for them to not even contact me about not being able to make the delivery. This was just the beginning of the downward spiral that was to occur. I called the company and they assured me that they would deliver it a week later and gave some bullcrap excuse for not making it. I take off work yet again for them to not show up. I call again and learn that they aren't delivering my stuff because they have lost my paperwork and can't locate my shipment. They literally lost my stuff. Great. I spend the next 3 weeks trying to get to the bottom of where my things are. I've spent almost 2 months with an empty condo and I'm getting impatient. But I also understand that if I lose my crap, it's just going to make them not want to work with me, so I keep my cool. After 3 weeks of basically feeding me bullcrap, they finally found my shipment. Finally. All the bullcrap is over, and I can get my things. Or so I thought. They tell me that the following week they'll make the delivery. I explained the situation to my job, and thankfully they were extremely understanding and let me off for the third time to be there when my things were arriving. The day before delivery, it rained all morning long. This will be pertinent later. The following day, I'm sitting around all day waiting for the shipment that's supposed to come midday. They don't arrive until 9 p.m. I could have worked a full day and been home, which annoys me, but hey, at least I'm getting my stuff today. They start opening the 2 large wooden crates with my stuff when they find that one of the crates has severe water damage. Severe. Remember the rain from the day before? Well, in this company's infinite wisdom, they were loading my things up the day before when it was raining, and supposedly they ran out of room on the truck just as they got to my stuff. Their solution? Don't bring the crate back into the dry warehouse, just leave it out in the rain, all morning long. Thankfully, most of our clothes and really important things were in the dry crate that had been left in the warehouse, and they weren't destroyed. There was, however, our couch that was completely destroyed by water damage. We ended up having them just take it back with them because we didn't want the nasty, smelly, wet couch in our condo. We made a list of the things they destroyed with the movers, and they gave us instructions to submit a claim. Now a bit of backstory on the couch. We bought it used off Craigslist for $150, and originally we were trying to sell it before the move, but weren't able to, so we just kept it. We did take pictures of the couch with the fold-out bed option shown that we'd kept. They had to pay for the full value of the couch, and we eventually found that brand new this couch was $2,300 from Crate & Barrel. We were ecstatic. We felt like it was karma for the moving company screwing us over all this time. But it gets better. The moving company gets our claims and insists that we picked the wrong model because our couch doesn't have a pull-out bed. At this point, they're just trying to avoid paying for the full price and try to get us to take less money. Thankfully, I still had the pictures with the bed pulled out to prove that it was indeed the pull-out version. Finally, they just accepted that I was right and we agreed on a settlement. A month later, the check came in, and wouldn't you know it, the check bounces. Not only was that frustrating, sending a bounced check of over $2,000 or something like that was technically a crime that I could have pressed charges for. At this point, all I cared about was getting my money and never having to deal with this company again. So I didn't want to get in a drawn-out legal battle. I called to inform them that the check bounced, and they assure me that it would be taken care of soon. A week goes by, and I hear nothing, so I call. As soon as they find out it's me on the line, they say they're going to transfer me and then hang up. They do this every time I call for the next 2 weeks. I send them a written notice requesting payment within 10 days of receiving the notice. Still nothing. I'm several months in from all the bullcrap this company's put me through, and I'm fed up at this point. So I try an idea my dad gives me. I contact my local CBS news station. They have a segment dedicated to helping out people in the community, and they're thrilled to help out a disabled veteran, especially after they hear about all the bullcrap that I've gone through. The reporter comes to my house and does a 5-minute interview that's aired on a Monday night. I cite the fact that these companies are paid by the government using taxpayer money, and they're screwing over our service members. And that's about it. Nothing really exciting or anything, but it worked wonders. The next morning, the vice president of the company calls me and makes sure that I get my money wired to my account before the end of the day. Finally, I'm done with these a-holes. But now it gets even better. The military has been notified of the story, and a colonel from the Marine Corps headquarters in the Pentagon calls me the next day, and I explain everything that happened for him. He thanks me for the information and says that he'll be following up with me later. A week later, he calls me back and informs me that the company has lost its contract with the military and is undergoing further investigations by the military. So not only did they get terrible publicity by my story being run on CBS, they also lost what I assume was a very lucrative contract with the military that was probably paying them well above regular price for what they would originally charge. All in all, it took months of patience and keeping my cool and making sure that I had a solid paper trail of evidence that showed I'd given them every opportunity to do things right, and they'd effed me over every time. And our next story. Employer screwed me over, I screwed him back, with help from the FBI. It was the early 1990s, and I worked for a telemarketing company with the initials SMC in Logan, Utah. I was employed for 2 full days when I came to the conclusion that we were just scamming old people out of their money using grossly unethical methods. I quit after my second day of work, and when I received my paycheck, I noticed that I was paid minimum wage instead of the $10 per hour I was promised when they hired me. So I went back to complain. The office manager told me, "You didn't finish the 90-day probationary period, so you only get minimum wage." Bullcrap. They never said anything about a probationary period in training, and I know it wasn't in the contract I signed upon hire. Yeah, I actually read it before signing it. As the office manager opened the door to have me leave, he said, "See ya, wouldn't want to be ya." I was fuming. I called the city offices and discovered that SMC didn't have a business license and reported them. Less than an hour later, I watched as the police showed up and told them they would have to shut down operations until they had a business license. Took them 2 weeks. When they were back in business, I used an elaborate scheme to get myself on their call list and recorded several of their employees' efforts to sell me their crap. It was Utah and legal to record the calls. I knew what they were doing wasn't just unethical, it was illegal. Not only did I report it to a local news station who had their consumer reporter, Debbie Dujanovic, do a 2-part story on the scummy company, but I also reported them to the FBI. The owner of the company was one of the 200-plus people that was arrested by the FBI in a nationwide sting of dishonest telemarketing companies. The FBI called it Operation Disconnect. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. And our last story. Wife tries to force husband's family to sell their grandfather's cabin to buy her out in divorce. The brother of a good friend of mine went through a divorce last year. The divorce was fairly messy. His soon-to-be ex-wife was trying to get as much as she could. My friend and his siblings all jointly inherited their grandfather's cabin a few months earlier. It's situated on a private island in Canada that's been owned by the family for 4 generations. It's about 5,000 square feet and easily worth over $3 million. And their grandfather had several unexpected private offers over that value, all refused with no interest in selling. The family was notified by her lawyer that she was requesting payment to buy her out of her 1/6 ownership. Each sibling owned 1/3, and she was trying to claim half of her husband's share. They tried to discuss a few alternatives, such as giving her a 1/6 right to usage but no ownership. She declined, apparently intent on forcing them to sell it, knowing none of them could afford to front the money to their brother to keep the cabin in their ownership. Their lawyer, a family friend, did a bunch of work to find a favorable solution for them. I'm looking over the grandfather's will. He discovered that the divorcing brother did not, in fact, own any part of the island with the cabin on it. It seemed that their grandfather bought up a bunch of other islands nearby the cabin and willed them to his grandchildren separately. He only owned a small nearby island made up of rocks and gravel, not big enough to build on and not worth any money at all. Not wanting to give her anything, they made her an offer, attempting to look like they were giving her more than she deserved, with the appearance of being desperate to keep ownership of the cabin. To give her 75% usage rights of the island for 25 years with no ownership. In the offer, they named the worthless island by its legal land title name. She made a counteroffer which was identical, but she wanted to add her rights to rent the island out for profit, and she wanted choice over her time allocation, which she drafted in the offer. They agreed. Apparently, her new boyfriend was more interested in the cabin than the money. They mailed her a set of keys for the cabin. They were keys for a master lock to their life jacket storage box on the dock at shore, as well as a fake key with a bright yellow floating foam keychain to give her the impression there would be a boat available to get to the island. They allowed her to believe her deal was for the cabin's island for quite a while, as the divorce was still not finalized. Her first weekend with the island was a long weekend, and she invited her family out along with her new boyfriend, a 400-kilometer drive. They were greeted by my friend's dad and their lawyer. The whole thing was planned by the lawyer, who I'm fairly good friends with. He tells me that her family was stranded on the island for hours as they'd hired a barge to ferry them over, and they waited until the barge left before going over the details of what she agreed to. He says she attempted legal action once more after that, accusing the family of fabricating the will after the fact. Apparently, her lawyer dropped the case before it even started. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.